It was the morning of January 2nd, 2020. The silence was suddenly shattered by the sound of gunshots echoing across the China-North Korea border. But these weren't shots fired at enemy soldiers or criminals crossing illegally. North Korean troops were systematically shooting at crows. This shocking scene was just the beginning of what might be the most extreme border lockdown in modern history. Today, I'm taking you inside the world's most secretive and militarized border, where paranoia has reached levels that would make dystopian novels seem tame. The China-North Korea border stretches for 880 m, and it's become the stage for some of the most bizarre and disturbing events of our time. From underground escape tunnels that could fit 30,000 soldiers to electrified fences that kill anyone who touches them, this border has transformed into something out of a nightmare. But here's what makes this story even more incredible. While North Korea shoots at birds to prevent CO transmission, they're simultaneously running government-sponsored smuggling operations worth millions of dollars. They're building secret tunnels for Kim Jong-un's escape while their own people face execution for trying to flee. We're going to explore the underground tunnel network, the shoot-to-kill orders, the floating black markets, and the billion-dollar smuggling empire that keeps this regime alive. Let me paint you a picture of just how insane things became during the pandemic. While the rest of the world was implementing mask mandates and social distancing, North Korea decided the best way to fight CO was to declare war on wildlife. The order came directly from the top. North Korean border guards received explicit instructions to shoot anything that moved near the Chinese border. And I mean anything. Crows, pigeons, cats, even mice. The reasoning: these animals might be carrying the virus from China. But it gets worse. In a non-county, authorities issued an emergency order to exterminate all stray cats. The official reason was preventing coronavirus from coming in through animals arriving from China. Local sources reported that people were horrified by these orders, with some sarcastically pointing out that animals can't talk, but they know where there's food. So why would cats even want to come to North Korea where people are starving? The absurdity reached its peak when they started targeting pigeons. Assault troops, soldiers who normally specialize in hunting wild animals, were deployed to border villages with one mission: kill everything that flies. These weren't just regular soldiers. When border guards shot anyone approaching the border, which they were required to do, they had specific instructions. Leave the body where it falls. Stay at least 6 feet away to avoid infection. Then immediately report to the local emergency anti-epidemic regiment. This wasn't just policy. This was systematic dehumanization disguised as public health. In August 2020, North Korea established buffer zones stretching up to 1.2 miles from their northern border with China. Within these zones, a single rule applied: shoot to kill. Human Rights Watch conducted satellite analysis comparing the border infrastructure from 2019 to 2023. What they found was terrifying. In just 200 m of linear border, they documented 462 miles of new fencing, including primary, secondary, and tertiary barriers. That's roughly one border facility every 360 feet. We're talking about guard posts, watchtowers, and garrisons turned into an impenetrable fortress. But the real horror wasn't the infrastructure. It was the people trapped inside. Anyone who accidentally wandered too close to the border faced immediate death. Now, let's talk about something that sounds like it's straight out of a spy novel. But it's absolutely real. Deep beneath the mountainous region of Jiang, right on the North Korean-China border, construction crews are allegedly digging underground passages designed for one purpose: to help Kim Jong-un escape if everything goes wrong. The intelligence on this comes from multiple sources within North Korea, and the details are fascinating. These aren't small tunnels. We're talking about passages buried hundreds of feet underground, designed to move Kim Jong-un, his family, and his closest advisors to safety in China if war breaks out. The construction process was shrouded in absolute secrecy. Workers were transported to tunnel sites and buses with blackened windows. When they arrived, they were blindfolded and weren't allowed to see their surroundings until they reached the construction area. The team handling this project was the 1st Brigade of the Korean People's Army Military Engineers, a unit that Kim Jong-un reportedly trusts completely. But here's where it gets interesting. This isn't North Korea's first experience with border tunnels. From the 1960s to 1980s, North Korea dug at least 4 tunnels under the demilitarized zone into South Korea. These weren't escape routes. These were invasion tunnels designed to move between 10,000 and 30,000 soldiers per hour directly into South Korean territory. The tunnels they discovered were massive. Some were big enough for vehicles. The third tunnel alone was 5,300 feet long, 6 feet high, and 7 feet wide. Carved through solid rock 239 foot underground. When confronted about these tunnels, North Korea first denied their existence, then claimed they were coal mines. The only problem, geologically, there's no coal in that area. South Korean intelligence believes there might be around 20 tunnels total, which is why their military still dedicates resources to hunting for them. But the new tunnels being built for Kim's escape represent something different. They're not about offense. They're about survival. Here's where this story takes a turn that will blow your mind. While North Korea was shooting people for crossing the border, they were simultaneously running one of the most sophisticated smuggling operations in the world. And get this, it's not illegal smuggling. It's government-sponsored smuggling. When COVID hit and private smuggling disappeared, the North Korean government stepped in with their own version of privateers. These are officially sanctioned smugglers who technically break international law but do something useful for the state. They're the reason markets in North Korea didn't completely collapse during the pandemic. Most of this operation runs through Hyesan in Ryanggang province. From there, North Korea exports medicinal herbs, lingji mushrooms, and dried leeches to China. Before you laugh at dried leeches, understand that these traditional medicines are worth serious money in Chinese markets. But the really valuable stuff is hidden inside the legal cargo. Gold, precious metals, and rare earth elements are smuggled alongside the mushrooms and herbs. The smugglers have deals with officials from powerful agencies to boost their profits, creating a shadow economy worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The operation works like this. Chinese traders send raw materials to North Korea, where North Korean traders process them into finished products, then send them back to China. It sounds inefficient, but it's actually brilliant. It creates multiple opportunities for value-added smuggling while maintaining plausible deniability. Today, the bridge stands as a monument to wasted ambition and deteriorating relations. The Chinese invested hundreds of millions of dollars based on promises that were never kept. The new Dandong district, built to house 700,000 new residents who would benefit from increased trade, has only attracted about 175,000 people. Local residents who invested their life savings in properties near the bridge now find themselves in a ghost town. Apartment buildings sit half empty. Businesses that were supposed to thrive on increased trade struggle to survive. The whole area feels like a post-apocalyptic movie set with modern infrastructure but no economic activity to sustain it. The bridge has become a symbol of China's frustrated relationship with North Korea. Despite providing economic lifelines worth billions of dollars, China gets little in return except nuclear tests, missile launches, and international embarrassment. The China-North Korea border has become a testing ground for some of the most advanced surveillance technology in the world. Every few hundred meters, there are cameras, sensors, and monitoring equipment designed to track everything that moves. The Chinese side uses this technology primarily for border security and immigration control. They want to prevent North Korean defectors from entering China and creating diplomatic problems. But they also use the surveillance data to monitor Chinese citizens and identify anyone with unauthorized contact with North Koreans. On the North Korean side, the surveillance is more sinister. It's designed to prevent their own people from escaping while gathering intelligence on Chinese activities. North Korean border guards use night vision equipment, thermal imaging, and motion sensors to hunt down anyone attempting to cross. But the most disturbing aspect is how this technology has created a perfect surveillance state. Every conversation near the border is potentially monitored. Every movement is tracked. Every interaction between Chinese and North Korean citizens is recorded and analyzed. People living hundreds of miles away modify their behavior because they know the surveillance network is always watching. It's a level of control that would have been impossible just a generation ago. The technology also enables more sophisticated smuggling operations. Government-approved smugglers use encrypted communications and coordinated timing to move goods while avoiding detection. They know exactly when and where the surveillance systems have gaps. Information that's only available to those with government connections. Here's something that will twist your brain. North Korea's extreme isolation has made them more dependent on China, not less. By cutting themselves off from the rest of the world, they've created a situation where China controls virtually every aspect of their economy. 90% of North Korea's trade is with China. That means China controls North Korea's access to fuel, food, medical supplies, and industrial equipment. If China decided tomorrow to completely cut off trade, North Korea would face economic collapse within months. But this dependence works both ways. China has invested billions of dollars in North Korean infrastructure, mining operations, and industrial facilities. Chinese companies employ tens of thousands of North Korean workers. Cutting off North Korea would mean writing off massive investments in dealing with potential refugee flows that could destabilize Chinese border regions. This creates a bizarre economic relationship where both countries are trapped in a cycle of mutual dependence and mutual resentment. China provides the economic lifeline that keeps North Korea alive, but North Korea uses that lifeline to fund nuclear weapons programs that embarrass and threaten China. The border region has become a symbol of this paradox. Massive Chinese investments sit unused while smuggling operations worth hundreds of millions thrive in the shadows. Modern infrastructure connects to primitive roads. Sophisticated surveillance systems monitor barefoot farmers trying to trade vegetables for rice. It's an economic relationship that makes no sense to outside observers, but perfectly illustrates how authoritarian regimes can create irrational but stable systems of control. The China-North Korea border isn't just a regional curiosity. It's a preview of what borders might look like in an increasingly authoritarian world. The combination of surveillance technology, economic control, and psychological warfare creates a template that other regimes are already studying and adapting. The COVID lockdown provided the perfect excuse to implement measures that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. This normalization of extreme measures is perhaps the most dangerous aspect of what's happening on this border. Other authoritarian regimes are watching and learning. The technology tested on this border is being exported to other conflict zones. The psychological tactics developed here are being adapted for other populations. The economic control mechanisms are being studied by other governments seeking to maintain power while appearing to engage with the international community. The border has become a laboratory for authoritarianism, and the experiments conducted here are being scaled up and exported around the world. What starts as an isolated border policy becomes a global template for control. But there's also resistance. Despite the surveillance, the fences, and the threats, people continue to find ways to cross. Love finds a way to transcend borders. Economic necessity creates innovation that outpaces government control. Human dignity survives even the most sophisticated oppression. The China-North Korea border is one of the most paradoxical places in the world. It is both highly militarized and shockingly porous. It combines cutting-edge surveillance technology with brutal medieval-style enforcement. Billion-dollar smuggling operations occur alongside severe human rights violations. But the real concern goes beyond the two countries. It's a glimpse into the future of global authoritarianism. Techniques and tools tested on this border are being studied and replicated by authoritarian governments worldwide. This isn't just a distant issue. It's a warning for all of us. As these methods of control spread, the erosion of human freedom becomes a global risk. The story is under-reported, but once you know, there's a responsibility to stay informed and raise awareness. Support organizations aiding North Korean defectors, and be vigilant about how your own government uses surveillance, border policies, and emergency powers. Recognize the signs of creeping authoritarianism and remember the humanity behind the headlines. Real people living under extreme conditions whose courage demands our attention and action. The China-North Korea border, though far away, teaches universal lessons about. Here's the most incredible part. While private smugglers have to bribe border guards to look the other way, Government smugglers move their cargo right in front of customs officers, security services, and police. It's illegal under international sanctions, but completely legal under North Korean law. The scale is massive. We're talking about cars, mechanical parts, electronic motors, copper concentrates, seafood, and fish moving across the border daily. The profits from this operation are estimated to be in the hundreds of millions annually, providing a crucial lifeline for the regime. During the height of the CO restrictions, prices for basic goods in North Korea doubled or tripled overnight. Markets shut down. People face starvation. The only thing keeping them alive was smuggling. Russian officials at the North Korea border witnessed something so horrifying they refused to continue repatriating defectors.